ASMR comics and collectibles, because I think if I expand, I could probably do a lot more videos. I have my old Star Wars toys from when I was a little kid growing up in the 80s. I have some old S-Trucks that were given to me as gifts by family members when I was growing up, so I think I could make some videos to show some of those items that hopefully you might like. But today I am going to show you how I prepare a comic book for autograph, grading, and authentication using a company called SWAU. I began doing this because I enjoy getting autographs on my comic books. I go to New York Comic Con every year, and I've done that for about 11 years or so. And I began in the very beginning getting autographs on my comic books, and then just kind of putting them right back in the polyurethane plastic sleeve and the backing board, and then putting them in a special plastic long box that I have to better protect it. And of course, it comes with a guarantee of a little sticker or something like that, a little card that you can have. But it really is not. It really is not that. It's well guaranteed. If I wanted to try to sell that or give it to someone, so I found SWAU, and what they do is they work with all of the celebrities, or not all of, but a lot of the celebrities and sometimes the comic authors, the writers, and they will get the autograph for you. And they also work closely with CGC, so it's possible to send in your comic book, get the autograph, and CGC will send it back to you with the CGC Signature Series banner on top of the encapsulation, and it will also be graded without having me wait on any line at New York Comic Con. So it's great that I can also get signatures from other Comic Con guests from other areas of the world. For example, I believe there's a Comic Con taking place in Kuwait. Either it already happened or it's in the near future, I'm not sure. But SWAU can get you those autographs if you send in your comic. It's not cheap. And there is a process to prepare your book to send it in. So that's what I'm going to show you today. How I prepare a comic book to send in to SWAU for autograph, grading, and authentication. So here what I have. Let me first show you the comic book that I'm going to send in for autograph and authentication, and then we'll go over some more of it here. I have it sitting in a cardboard box, which I bought a comic book off of eBay a while ago, and I recommend if you ever purchase a comic book to save if they mail it to you in one of these nice cardboard comic book mailers. I would say keep it, because I repurpose these a lot. For example, I'm repurposing this one right now. But the comic book I'm going to send away is a DC comic about V. Now, I don't know how old you are, but V was a TV miniseries. I think the is science fiction. It's about aliens who come to Earth and they look like us, they talk like us, but they have way superior technology, and they're here to give us all that technology for free just because they want to help. Sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? Well, of course it is. As it turns out, the aliens are actually lizards. That's right, they're lizards. They're wearing fake skin, and as the series goes on, resistance groups of humans begin to form, and they begin to fight back against the lizard people who look like us. And the real reason the lizard people are here is to use humanity as food. So that's what they're doing. They're actually eating the people. It was a great miniseries. I loved it. Very similar to, I'm not sure if any of you have watched The Twilight Zone. The Twilight Zone is great. Rod Sterling. And there was an old episode, and I'm going to spoil it for you if you plan on watching it. But the old episode is called To Serve Man. And I remember being a little kid watching that episode with my mother, and the foreshadowing was a little clearer than I remember, but as a kid I was shocked to find out the ending. So the episode is called To Serve Man, and aliens, just like in the series V, come to Earth, and they have wonderful, wonderful technology and knowledge, and they want to share it with us. People are very excited. Some people are a little skeptical, but some people are extremely, extremely happy and willing to go on their ship and go back to their home planet. During one of the aliens' visits with some government officials, he leaves behind a book, and it has alien writing on the cover of it. So American scientists begin to, I assume they're American, I think that's where it took place. These scientists began to try to translate what it said, and it's not until the very, very end of the episode, when people are getting on their ship to go visit their planet and they're all excited, the cover of the book, it says To Serve Man. But when you actually read the inside of the book, I apologize, it wasn't the cover of the book that was not translated. The cover of the book was translated, and it said in English To Serve Man, but no one knew what was inside. They thought that if they translated what was inside, they would have all of the secrets and knowledge. But when they translated the inside, they found it wasn't knowledge, at least not knowledge that they were looking for. It was recipes. To Serve Man was a cookbook of how to cook and serve people as food. So I enjoyed that episode. Sorry I botched the retelling of it a bit. So let's get into the comic. If you notice a change in lighting or anything like that, it's because I had to move locations. I live in a family of 5, and I was in the basement, and my house was just way too loud. So I'm trying to record this. I moved to a new spot, so you might see a difference in the lighting, but I tried to recreate the same thing. We don't need the cardboard right now, so I'm going to move this out of the way. We'll come back to that later. So again, this is V from the 1984 TV series, and V stands for victory, as in the human resistance is going to achieve victory. So let's take this out of the bag and board. Try to go quiet. I always struggle with these. Okay. Make some nice cardboard sounds. I'll move that out of the way. Also have the bag here. Definitely got stuck there for a second. Oh well. Get that out of the way. Okay. So this is the comic book. To send it away for autograph, you do have to take it out of its bag and board. I always enjoy the advertisements from older comic books on the back. This one is for Pitfall 2 by Activision for the Commodore 64. Wow, I haven't played a Commodore 64 in a long time. I do not have one. Maybe that would be cool to get a refurbished one or something like that. But for now, this is what we're going to be putting into a different kind of protective covering called I believe a window, an autograph window sleeve. So I'm going to get that right here. So this is an autograph window sleeve, and you can buy these online. I bought these directly from CGC, and it's just something that it gives some protection to the comic book, but it also leaves an opening for the signer to sign their name or whatever else you're going to be asking them to write. So it opens up, and it opens up a few times, and the comic actually goes in here facing out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the board here again. We're going to use the board. I'm going to start with putting the board in, just like that. And I'm going to take it and flip it over. And then I'm going to take my book and put that in the sleeve. You have to be careful sometimes because sometimes the bottom edge here, the bottom edge catches the comic book. So you certainly don't want to damage it. Putting it in. And these tuck in right here. And the way you mail it would be like that. So this flap covers the window that exposes the comic book. So that's the first step I usually do. And if you ever want to see a real official video, they make SWAU has official videos that you can watch and copy the same thing. Now it's time to indicate where I would like the autograph. So a character from V. A character from V is Ham Tyler, who is played by the actor Michael Ironside. to ask Michael Ironside to sign this comic book. I like him as an actor. I like him in the movies he's been in, and if I recall correctly, Michael Ironside, his character Ham, was a tough character, and I think you were unsure in a lot of episodes what side he was really on. In the end, I believe he was a good guy, but I think there's a little bit of a question there at some points in the series, which I think made his character interesting. You're also going to need some type of sticky note, and any sticky note seems to work fine as long as it's not one of the sticky notes that has extra stick. Sometimes post-its can be made to be super sticky, so just make sure it's not a super sticky one. And there are a few things that SWAU asks that you write down. So they ask that you write down the autographer's name and then indicate where exactly to sign it. Now, I'm only going to have Michael Ironside sign this comic, so I'm going to have him sign probably somewhere right in the middle up here, so it's pretty noticeable. I like it when you can really see the autographs, and up here it seems to be the colors are a lot lighter, but down here the colors are much darker, so I think I'm going to ask for a black pen on the lighter background here. You can also request the color pen, although it's not guaranteed, it depends what's available. If I was going to ask him to sign down here, I might ask for silver or something like that. So I'm going to write down on my sticky note, I'm going to write Mr. Ironside, please sign here. Also, Ham, Tyler, and I put arrows. Just like that. Now, you can't just ask them to sign or write whatever you want on this little sticky note. That is something that has to be purchased ahead of time, and you can usually always ask for the character name. So if they played a character in a movie or a TV show, you can ask them to write their character name. Some talent will also allow you to ask for a phrase or a quote or something along those lines. And that wasn't an option for Michael Ironside with this comic book, but it was an option for a comic book that I sent away for as well, and I have not gotten that back yet. The signing hasn't happened yet, but when I get that back, I think I'll include it in a video so you can see. So what we do now is I'll move over the comic to be a little better in view. And let's see where would I like him to sign. I think right here. Right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this off. And I'm actually going to stick it on the comic book just so it doesn't get separated. I'm going to put it right like that so he can sign it right here, which will be towards the middle of the comic book. And the instructions are right here with the information. It asks for a sticky note that contains your name, your address, maybe a phone number, an email address, and your order number. They like your order number on everything. So I'm going to, after this video is over, take this off and stick it inside on the back of the board there. And then, once that's done, it's time to package it for shipping. So if I retrieve my cardboard here, again, it's always a good idea to keep these cardboard mailers. If you buy a comic book online and they're shipped in that, you can also buy them on Amazon. They're not as inexpensive as I thought they would be, so I tend to avoid it. I try to use my own cardboard and whatnot, but I'm going to place the comic in the holder. They also ask that you include your receipt. I have some papers folded over because on my receipt has some personal information, so you include that as well. And then you would just back it up. And mail it off. I didn't realize my label was there, but you get the point. And it takes a while. It can take a long time to get your comic back. You just have to be patient. I believe it took me, I sent a few out in the past, and I believe it took me about 8 months to get it back, because the talent has to sign the comic book, and then CGC has to grade it and encapsulate it, and then mail it back to you. And this is all done during Comic-Con time, convention time, so it's a very busy time for them. But I think it's worth the wait. When I get this one back, I'll show you how it came out, and I'll show you some other of my CGC Signature Series comics that I went through the same process for in the near future. I'd like to make some more videos. So thank you, everyone. If you have any suggestions, any ideas, I'm working on getting an adapter for my microphone, so hopefully the audio will get better, and I'll continue to improve. So thank you, everyone, for being here, and I hope to see you soon.